Hey there, I'm Derek Henry, and in this video we're going to walk through 10 different ways that you can resize columns in Excel. Sizing columns is such a common task that we can save a lot of time when we use the right approaches. So we're going to start the most basic approach and then move to more fast approaches, including my favorite at the very end, so make sure to stay tuned. Now, if you want to resize a column, very easily just go up to the column headers, and when the cursor changes to this little cross with arrows icon, just drag it right to make it bigger or drag it left to make it smaller. Very, very simple. If you want to do that for multiple columns, simply select them by using the arrow down. Notice that you can select multiple columns, and then any of them you can drag, and all of them will be moved to that exact same width. Okay, so there's first two, one column or multiple columns. The second way is you can right-click on a column, go to column width, and then specify exactly what you want it to be. Okay, so 15, so that's the third way. Again, if you want to do that for multiple columns, select them, right-click any of the selected ones. Column widths, let's say we want to make that 20, okay? Notice, changes them all. Now, a lot of people like the approach where it sizes it automatically for you based on the widest cell in the column. So just go to double-click. So again, instead of dragging, double-click. Very easy. And again, if you want to size all of them or many columns at the same time, select multiple columns, double-click any of them. Now, here's the only problem with doing that. Notice if you have a really long description or a URL or something like that, a big text string, it might be longer than you want it to be. Okay, so stay tuned to the end for how I combat that with the last tip. So those are the first 6. Now, to do this more quickly, we're going to use keyboard shortcuts. Okay, so one of the ways that I often would do this, the first one, to select one or more columns. Notice I've got one or more cells here. Click Control and Spacebar. Okay. Now, when you hold Shift and the right or left arrows, then you can select multiple. Okay. So that's the first thing if you're going to select the entire column. Now, if you want to set a specific column width, there's often a menu icon, a key that's to the right of your keyboard. It looks like a menu or 3 little horizontal lines. Click that. Press W. You can set a specific width if you want to. So in this case, I'm going to put 20. Okay. Now, a couple other ones. If you want to set specific width, you can also press Alt-H-O-W. Notice that did the same thing if we want to make that back to 15. And then lastly, if you want to auto-fit automatically, you can press Alt-H-O-I, and notice that those are going to be auto-fit for us. Okay, so based on the widest cell that we've got. Now, if you already know what the column widths are that you want, so notice in this other sheet here, I've got a whole bunch that look like they are pretty optimized for the most part. We can select those and copy them, go to another sheet, and check this out. If we go up to Paste Special, okay, we can do column widths. Most people don't know you could do that, but if you're trying to make something look the same, that is the best way because it does several at the same time and they can all be different widths, okay? So that's a great one. I use a macro to do this. So if I was going to copy all of those, okay, I've got one, I call this the copy or paste special picker. Notice option W here, I just press W. It does the same thing. So there's several ways to do that, whether using right clicking or the Alt keys or just come up here and click, several ways to do that. Now, one that's pretty cool is to have it automatically update based on changes. So check out what I'm doing here, okay? I'm gonna say, Paste Special now. Notice that that's changing for me. Say right now. Okay, it's automatically updating based on what's in there. Now, I'm going to say be very careful with this because check out what happens when you use a really long description. Okay, it's going to automatically do that. So I don't love that unless you're going to put in a maximum width, and I'll show you how I do that here in just a moment. Now, how this works, this is based on a VBA event, and you have to put this in your sheet. So if you go right-click the sheet name down there, View Code, let me show you here what this looks like. This is in the VBA window here. Okay, it's very, very simple. So on that sheet, within the sheet, it's going to be blank when you first do that. All we're saying is when the worksheet is changing, if it's blank, then don't do anything. But if it's got any contents at all, then auto-fit that column. That's all that's really doing. Okay, so it's kind of neat, but you'd have to add that for every sheet, and you'd have to have that in your file, it have to be macro enabled. So there are a couple of downsides, but if you're okay with those things, this can be kind of cool. And you can tweak that a little bit. Again, you could put it a maximum or do some other logic if you want to. And then the last way, and this is my favorite. Okay, this is based on a macro that I put together. So notice we're in here, we've got, this looks like what we started with in terms of just basic column widths. Okay, so this is a macro that I wrote. I've mapped it to Control-Shift-G, notice that it pulls up a prompt that says, hey, enter a couple of letters and you can save your default, which is absolutely huge. And this is saying A, select all used columns. Okay, so A through N, so it automatically kind of picks that for you. I haven't really done anything with A through F, but it's using those pictures in the background. What do you want it to do? Auto-fit or set an exact width, and optionally you can put in a maximum. So what this is saying is select all columns, auto-fit 30 as the maximum. Okay, so I'm going to start this over again to show you how quick this can be. Run the shortcut, press enter, and automatically all of these are auto-fit but with a 30 character maximum. That's very similar to the way I like to do it because those long descriptions, I don't want that to come off the side. Okay, so you could do the same thing with that event-driven one. I like this way because I kind of want to control what happens. I don't like things to be quite that automatic because sometimes that can go a little nuts. But now that you know the options that you have here within these 10 approaches, you're going to be blazing through your worksheets like never before. If you want to try out the macro that I was using here, check out the QR code there or the link in the comments below. If you want a copy of this workbook that has that event-driven and some of these other things in here, use the QR code at the bottom there, and you can grab that and find out more with the article that accompanies this video. If you found this helpful, please give it a like, add a comment, share with a friend, and don't forget to follow me so you don't miss out on other awesome content just like this. Thanks for watching and have an awesome rest of your day.